It's been about 2 months since I last uploaded, and Chelsea, well, they still aren't in the top 10. I want to go over Chelsea's start to the season and figure out what on earth is happening with this team. Starting with Luton Town. 2 goals and an assist for Sterling, 2 assists for Malo Gusto, and a goal for Nicholas Jackson. Great performance from the team. Malo Gusto and Raheem Sterling were definitely the ones to watch in this game. And I said in my previous video, they were our best performers against West Ham, so it's good to see that they kept their forms going. There's a lot that I want to say about this game. The breathtaking solo goal from Sterling, for example, or the playmaking abilities of Fernandes and Chilwell in general, but I don't want to waste too much time oozing over this victory against the newly promoted Luton Town, so I'm just going to sum it up by saying a 3-0 victory over Luton was what we needed. Great win, well deserved. Let's move on to the next game, which was our Carabao Cup win over AFC Wimbledon. Surprisingly enough, we were behind in this one. Sanchez conceded a pen very early on, but that didn't matter because we kept on going. And Madueke was just absolutely balling. His silky dribbling won him a penalty. He stepped up to calmly convert it and tied the game 1-1 by halftime. We started this game with a lot of youngsters on, so after halftime we started subbing on our main team. And would you believe it, 7 minutes after being subbed on, Enzo Fernandez put away a terrible mistake from Wimbledon's keeper to push us ahead. And that's how the story goes. 2-1 to Chelsea at the Bridge. Not a game I want to gloat about, seeing as Wimbledon are a mid-table team in League 2, but a promising performance from Chelsea youngsters leads us into the next game. And now, the bad stuff. Look, I'm not a pessimist myself, but watching 5 hours of football without a single goal makes me question my life. Starting with the 1-0 loss against Nottingham Forest. Fucking Forest. It's been over 30 years since their last win at the Bridge, so this is a new low for Chelsea. Poor defending and terrible ball control from Caicedo basically handed the goal away to Elanga. This game also made me realise just how terrible we are at finishing. 21 shots and only 2 on target. Let's not even get started on that miss from Jackson. There are only 2 teams Forest have beaten, Chelsea and Sheffield United, who currently sit at the bottom of the table with no wins and only 1 point to their name. That team is actually depression. I'm sorry to all you Sheffield fans out there. All in all, this game was an absolute disaster for us. Very disappointing. Next was our bore draw against Bournemouth, which ended 0-0. I actually took a lot of notes during this one, but I managed to summarize it down to 2 sentences. First half, Chelsea were dominant. This second half has been back and forth, 50-50, playing like we are equals, and the stats say the same. We are on par with Bournemouth, and it is stressful to think about. And you know what? I completely agree. That first half, we had so many opportunities, but just like the match against Forest, we couldn't finish. At the start of the second half, Colwill put away a great free kick from Sterling, but it was offside. Following that, Nicholas Jackson took a chance with his left foot. It was his left foot. Every time Bournemouth had possession, they made it into our half and had a good opportunity. That just shouldn't be happening. It gets even more stressful to think about because next up is our loss against Aston Villa. This one was painful to watch. It had a slow start, loads of attacking opportunities for Chelsea and some stunning saves from Sanchez. Mudryk seemed more confident than ever before. Sterling had some nice runs in as well, and then a terrible VAR decision gets Gusto sent off 58 minutes in. After that, the game switched. Aston Villa were now pressuring Chelsea very heavily for the remainder of the match, waiting to break the defence, and eventually they succeeded. A 1-0 defeat at home, just like our away game against... A 1-0 defeat at home, just like our game against Forest. So many chances were made, but we put nothing away. Of our 3 matches, we only salvaged 1 point in a draw against Bournemouth. The fans, the manager, and the players were devastated, and everyone was beginning to lose hope, as our next fixture was a Carabao Cup clash against Brighton. Our biggest game yet. So it surprised no one when Chelsea went on to knock them out of the cup. Yes, that's right. Chelsea won, Brighton 0. It weren't the best or the worst, but it was slotted away by Nicholas Jackson, and that's just what we wanted. He scored a second later on, which was ruled offside because Chelsea fans just haven't suffered enough. Despite that, the team looked amazing. Mudryk at his best in this one, Levi Colwill, class as always, and Sanchez kept the clean sheet despite his mistakes. Our first win in what felt like ages, a morale boost boost for everyone as we moved on to our next battle, a determined Chelsea versus a hungry Fulham. 3 points on the line and both sides were desperate for him, but in the end the Blues wanted it more, cleaning up with a tidy 2-0 victory. This one featured Mudrik's first goal for Chelsea, which went straight between the keeper's legs, and one more for Armando Broja. Great way for him to return from injury. We finally secured 3 points in the league after that terrible, god-awful September, and we deserved it. Off the ball, we were tirelessly pressing, constantly finding new ways to win it back, and on the ball we played with speed and creativity, and Fulham just couldn't keep up. Our second win in the Prem this season, and it was good to see the team in such excellent form. Another clean sheet for Sanchez, excellent plays from our whole team, and another big confidence boost for the manager, the fans, and the players. Unfortunately, our next game didn't feature a clean sheet for the Blues, as Sanchez let one slip away early on, giving Burnley the lead. Were those last 2 games just flukes? Nothing more than a couple of lucky wins? No, because we thrashed Burnley 4-1. Let's keep a counter of how many times I say Sterling's name here as we recount Chelsea's comeback. Just before half-time, Sterling made a great dribble down the left-hand side, taking on 2 Burnley players at once, getting past and still managing to whip across him, which deflected off a defender and ended up in the back of the net. An unlucky own goal for Burnley, but we'll take it. Now, 5 minutes after half-time, and Sterling is once again on the ball and charging down the left-hand side. He rapidly makes his way into the box, where he's fouled by Burnley right-back Vitinho and is awarded a penalty. Cole Palmer calmly places the penalty away to make it 2-1. 65 minutes in now, and Caicedo makes an excellent tackle in the opponent's half, and the ball comes to Gallagher, who finds Sterling on the left. He takes 2 touches and then slots it away nicely to make it 3-1. 74 minutes and Sterling is pacing his way down the left wing once more. Sterling whips it across to Palmer. Palmer sets it up for Jackson, and Jackson finishes the Chelsea attack. 4-1. What a comeback. Another 3 points for Chelsea, and it was all thanks to the man of the match, the man of the moment, Raheem Sterling. He was involved in every single goal tonight, and it shows. If Chelsea keep playing like they did in that second half, then we might just be set for the season. Okay, now that we're all caught up, it's time to get real. Let me pull up some stats real quick and you tell me what you think. In our first 8 games, we won 3, drew 2, and lost the last 3. 11 goals scored and 7 conceded makes for a goal difference of 4. And we've just about managed to keep 3 clean sheets. We've only managed to rack up 11 points, which is funny because it places us at 11th in the table. We are not a mid-table team. 3 wins in 8 matches is just not what Chelsea should be aiming for. But context matters, and it matters a lot. In this case, we've had a lot of injuries taking out our key players like Reece James and Nkunku, and that's caused our manager to constantly rethink his tactics and his team, playing players out of position, trying new formations every so often, and still managing to gain some stability in our last 3 games. It's impressive to see him work his way around it. But our start to this season featured some of the easiest teams we could play against, so even though Poch has found some stability here, he's only faced the easier teams such as Bournemouth, Burnley, Fulham, Forest and Luton. They're only going to get harder from here on out. Our next 7 league fixtures contain the following: Arsenal, Tottenham, Brighton, Newcastle, City and United. That's when we'll see if Poch is the man for the job or not.